Hey guys, it's Bethany, and today I'm back on with part 2 of the Ultra Mini album tutorial. This is her in all her glory. She is 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches tall with a 2.5 inch spine. It has 4 signature pocket pages, and I'll do another quick flip through here. It's got this flap with pocket on the inside front cover, a belly band on page 1. Like I said, each pocket is a pocket page. Pages 2 and 3 are plain pages. Pages 4 and 5 have 2 side pockets. Pages 5 and 6 are plain pages again, and so is page 8. On the back inside cover, you have the same size flap and same size pocket as the front covers, that they are magnetically closed. We have a seam binding closure, and that's it. So in part 1, we made our binding here. We made our hinge system and added it to the book. We added our flaps and pockets to the inside, front, and back covers. We also made our 4 pocket pages and added the belly band to page 1 and added our side pockets to pages 4 and 5. I'm going to just label this here page 5 again because we covered it up from the first time that I labeled it. But here in part 2, we are going to add all of our pretty designer patterned paper to our 110-pound cardstock pages and the inside covers, as well as we will add our seam binding closure and add our mats to the cover and spine as well. So if you're ready, I know I am. So let's get started. Let's start with the inside front and back covers, because I did mat them the same. I used the same designer papers to so they're the exact same, if that makes sense. So for your flaps, you need 2 pieces. Let me see, make sure these are facing the right way. 2 pieces of 3 7/8 by 4 7/8 inches designer paper. Those are going to go on our flaps here. Because I rounded the corners of my flaps, I'm going to round the corners of my designer paper as well so that they match up. And do that real quick. Excuse me. I'm going to add my glue. No, I'm not, because it's clogged up again. Surprise, surprise. Where's my pen? There you are. I'm going to unclog my glue real quick. Sorry, guys. There we go. I'm going to add my glue. Like I said, these 2 pieces need to be 3 7/8 by 4 7/8 to fit on your flaps. There's the first one down. And here's the second one. I don't know how exciting this video will be because it's literally just me gluing a bunch of designer paper to the 110-pound cardstock that we already constructed. But hey, I forgot to say we did add our magnet closures in part 1 as well, but I told you in part 1 that if you don't want to use the magnetic closures, you can always add Velcro, with the little Velcro dot closures after you add your designer paper. So that's up to you. If you use magnets, you add the magnets before you add your designer paper, and if you're adding Velcro dots, add them after your designer paper. Okay, we're going to open these flaps up, and we're going to mat the inside of the flap. Again, you need 2 pieces of 3 7/8 by 4 7/8. And this time I'm going to round the top corners to match my flaps, like so. Again, that's totally optional. You don't have to round your corners. I just like the look of it. So I just removed the backing of my tape that's covering my magnet, and I'm adding my glue. I'm going to put this paper down like so, and make sure it's pressed down well. Again, I'm going to move the backing of that tape, add my glue, and put it down. So you'll need a total of 4 pieces that measure 3 7/8 by 4 7/8 to cover the inside and outside of your flaps, if that makes sense. Now, to cover up this little hinge and the back of your pocket, you only need well, you need 2 pieces for the front and the back. A piece that is 4 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and that's going to go down into the pocket about 1 inch, like so. Excuse me. Like so. So again, you need those 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. It will go down into the pocket about 1 inch, and then you want to make sure you're not covering up. You're staying about 1/8 of an inch away from the flap where it bends, so that it doesn't obstruct the way the flap operates. Here's our other piece of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm adding my glue, and then putting this down into the pocket about 1 inch, staying 1/8 of an inch away from that bend, and pressing down with my bone folder. For your pockets, you need 2 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 2 7/8 of an inch, and that will go right there on your pocket. Excuse me. I'm going to remove the backing of the tape from my magnet, add my glue, and then just add my pretty cardstock to the pocket, like so. I always use my bone folder to make sure it's pressed down well. And do the same to this back pocket. Again, that piece of pattern paper needs to be 4 1/4 by 2 7/8 of an inch. And there we have it. Our inside, front, and back covers are completed. Again, if you didn't use your magnets, you can use your Velcro dots here to keep those flaps closed. So now let's move on to page 1. For page 1, you need a piece of pattern paper that measures 4 1/8 by 5 7/8, and we're going to slide it in there behind the belly band like so. But first I'm going to add my glue. And then slide it in there. Line it up so there's about 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around. Like so. Use my bone folder to press it down. And then for your belly band, your designer paper needs to be 2 3/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches. Adding the glue, positioning it on the center of my belly band. Again, so that there's 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around. That's why I cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller than what the actual 110-pound cardstock is. So that there's a nice reveal. I think it looks really nice that way. You can see there. Okay. So now we're going to do pages 2 and 3, which are our plain, 2 of our plain pages. And for these, you need obviously 2 of them, 1 for each page. It's going to be 4 1/8 inches wide by 5 7 inches, 5 7/8 inches tall. Okay. Glue, 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 glue. Press it down. Here's our other piece. Again, it's 4 1/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches. Because the actual page is 4 1/4 by 6 inches. 1/8 inch less all the way around. And there's our pages 2 and 3. Now we're going to work on pages 4 and 5. For your pocket, your side pockets, you need 2 pieces of pretty pattern paper that measure 2 3/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches. I chose this butterfly pattern paper. It's one of my favorites from the Rainbow Avenue collection by Celeste Gonzalez. That's the collection I'm using, obviously. So for the pockets, I chose this butterfly paper. It's got pinks and purples and a minty green color in it. And then for the page behind the pocket, I chose this pattern paper that also has the purples and greens in it. And so for this is going to go inside your pocket about 1 inch and sit right about there on both pages. And so you need 2 pieces that measure 3 inches by 5 7/8 inches. Adding my glue. By the way, I will have part 1 linked in the description box down below, and on part 1, I will have part 2 linked in the description box so that they're both linked together. So again, adding my glue, I'm putting this inside the pocket, about an inch inside the pocket. Come on. Oh no, I got glue on that paper. I'll have to use, once it dries, I'll use my adhesive eraser and get that off of my pretty pattern paper. What happens when you're clumsy like me. Okay, so that's in there, and I'm pressing down with my foam folder. For pages 6 and 7, we've got 2 more flat pages, so that means you need 2 pieces of 4 1/8 inches wide by 5 7/8 inches tall. And these go on here like so. Oh no, I messed up this cut. How did I do that? This one matches, but this one doesn't. Okay, well, make sure you cut your paper right, because your paper needs to be cut at 4 1/8 inches wide by a full 5 7/8 inches tall. It looks like my paper trimmer messed up, so I will have to come back and fix that. Just make sure yours is cut at 4 1/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches. Like I said, this one is perfect. That one is a little short, so I guess my paper trimmer went a little wonky and didn't cut it very straight. I'll probably add like a strip of a different pattern paper down here just to cover that up and make it look right. Dagnabbit, I hate when that happens. On page 8, you need, again, it's a plain page, so you just need another piece that's 4 1/8 inches wide by 5 7/8 inches tall. Are you sick of me saying that measurement? Because I'm sick of saying it. Here is my page 8. And we are done matting our pages with the designer pattern paper. Now, let's add our seam binding and our mats to our front and back covers, as well as the spine. For your cover, you need a piece that is you need 2 pieces that are 4 3/8 inches wide by 6 3/8 inches tall. As you can see, I did go ahead and sew around with some gold thread for my covers. And for your spine, you need a piece that is 2 3/8 inches wide, 2 3/8 inches wide by, again, 6 3/8 inches tall. Okie dokie. I sewed around this one as well. Let's go ahead. Well, no, we need our seam binding first. Don't forget the seam binding. What did I do with my seam binding? Oh no. Oh, there it is. I'm actually out of my purple seam binding, so I'm going to use pink on this one. I'm going to use about 6 or 7 inches. So I need 2 pieces that are about 6 or 7 inches, whatever you want to do. You can always add more than 6 or 7 inches if you want. It just depends on the look you like to go for your seam binding. It looks like there's some glue on that piece, so I'm going to cut another one. Line that up. Now I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to add my seam binding here. I'm going to eyeball the middle of my cover and then just put my double-sided tape there to hold that down like so. Press it down well with my bone folder. I'm going to flip it over and try to add it to about the same spot on the back cover, because you want them to line up pretty well. So again, I'm pressing that down with my bone folder. I'm going to remove the backing of the double-sided tape. I'm going to get my cover here again that measures 4 3/8 inches by 6 3/8 inches. Add my glue. And I'm going to line this up so that there is about 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around on all 4 sides. That's why I cut it 1/8 inch less than the actual size of the cover. Use my bone folder to really spread that glue around and get it stuck down well. For the back cover, I'm going to remove the tape again, remove the backing of the tape. Add my glue. Line that up. And press down. I'm putting my hand here on the back, in the inside back cover, to help press that down. Like so. And now to add the spine piece, I like to do this. Stand it up on its edge. Your spine piece again is 2 3/8 inches by 6 3/8 inches. Line that up to leave about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And press down. Isn't this paper beautiful? I love that it's a light gray in the background and it's got all these beautiful pink, yellow, and purple flowers. And I love the greens from the leaves. Now, because I've worked so hard on this album and I want people to know that I made it, I'm going to go ahead and add my Handmade with Love by sticker on the back bottom cover, and you should add yours now as well because you worked so hard on it, right? Okay, so there's my little Handmade by sticker, and now we're going to add our pages into our hinge system. we're going to start with the first hinge here. I'm going to use my pokey tool to take the backing off of this red line tape. I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to the red line tape. I'm not going anywhere past the red line tape. If you see, I'm leaving a good amount of space here at the bottom because we don't want our page to be too close to the bottom of the hinge. If it's too close to the bottom of the hinge, it will not freely fold to the left and the right, and you want your pages to flip really nicely without any trouble. So and I like to do the score tape and the wet adhesive because I don't trust just one adhesive to hold in my heavy pages. I want these pocket pages to stay in and not come out, so that's why I use both adhesives. Now, making sure my orientation is the right way, I'm going to open up this left side of my pocket page. I'm going to insert insert it here on the bottom of the hinge first, and then on the top. And I'm not putting this page down all the way to the bottom of the hinge, right? I'm leaving about an 1/8 of an inch space between my page and the score line here where the hinge bends left and right. That's really, really important, and you want to make sure your page gets put on straight. So make sure it's lined up nice and straight, and make sure that there is an 1/8 of an inch space here between your page and the score line where the page flips. So important. I cannot stress that enough, because you want your page to flip left to right without anything getting in the way of it. There's page 1, and there's page 2. Here's page 3 and 4. We're going to put this one here on the second hinge. Again, we're going to remove the backing of this tape on both sides. Maybe. We're going to add our wet adhesive to the double-sided tape because we don't trust just one adhesive to hold in our page. We want our page to stay in there forever. Making sure my orientation is correct. Oops, I dropped it. You're going to open up the left side here of the pocket page. You're going to put the bottom, insert the bottom corner first, and then slide it onto the top corner. Again, so important. Leave about an 1/8 of an inch space between your page and where it bends. Make sure your page is straight, and then you can press down. Flip it over and press down on the opposite side. Moving on to the third hinge. Same process. Removing the backing of the tape, adding the wet adhesive on top of the tape, but not any further down on the hinge. Just stay right there on the double-sided tape. take your pages. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So page 5, page 6. You're going to make sure the orientation is right. Your pocket's on the right side here. You're going to open up the left side of the pocket. You're going to slide that hinge there on the bottom. And then on the top of the hinge, you're going to leave 1/8 of an inch space between the page and the bottom of your hinge, making sure it's straight before you press down. Pressing down on the back as well to give it a good stick and get that glue spread around. And finally, we're on the 4th hinge. Same process, different hinge. Remove the tape backing. Add your wet adhesive. Take your pages 7 and 8. Make sure it's the right orientation. I always say that. Always make sure it's the right orientation before you put it in, because you don't want to put a page upside down or whatever. And so we're going to slide the bottom of the pocket onto the bottom of the hinge, and then over the top of the hinge. Maybe. There we go. Making sure to cover up the tape all the way, but not go any further down the hinge, leaving 1/8 of a space between the edge of my page and the bottom of the hinge. I know I keep saying it, but I really want to reinforce, I want to drive the point home so that you don't put your page too far down on the hinge and then your page isn't able to flip freely. There we go. It's all pressed down on the front and the back. There's all 4 signature pocket pages added into our album. As you can see, those pages, I want to point it out one more time for you, okay? I'm going to use a little score tool here to show you that there is 1/8 of a space between the back of the spine and where I set the page down on the hinge. Do you see that? It's like that on all 4 of them. There's about 1/8 of an inch there, so that the page is not obstructed and it can flow freely on all 4. Okay, guys, there we have it. That is our ultra mini album tutorial finished. I hope it was easy enough to follow. People do say that I make easy to follow tutorials, so that's good. But if for some reason you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I will get back to you. If you need more detailed instructions, feel free to message me over on Instagram. My handle there is the same that is here on YouTube. It's at your_crafty_BFF. And I will get back to you with any questions you have, okay? So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following my tutorial. I hope you enjoy your ultra mini album. And yeah, other than that, have a great day. Bye.